sorry, I had to sync the camera for a second. What's going on, everybody? This is James again, and this is going to be part 2 of a Shenmue 3 mini discussion. The reason why I'm doing these mini discussions is to kind of just really get my thoughts out there with all the recent developments in the Shenmue community, you know, such as the entire Save Shenmue campaign, the inclusion of Ryo as DLC, the talks from Sony about Shenmue, you know, being, you know, wanted by the general public, the all of a sudden Shenmue retrospective coming at GDC, I believe in February. Just, you know, all of them together just kind of gave me all these thoughts, and I started pondering the post-chapter 5 and 6 story of Shenmue. You know, the portions of the story that Ryo is apparently going to be in, you know, deeper into Guilin, like Bailu Village, Luoyang, those areas. So, where we last left off was the plot holes of Shenmue 3. Oh, and just to be stern, every time I talk about Shenmue, kind of makes me upset. So, we're going to drown those Shenmue sorrows with a little bit of alcohol. Today I'm drinking Bud Light with lime. In the United States, it's considered a very entry-level beer. Honestly, it's not one of my favorites, but I had some extras, so fuck it. Anyway, excuse my language. So, this video is going to be more towards what my personal thoughts are for what's going to happen in the last portions of the storyline of Shenmue 3. And these are purely based on skepticism. It is true I have met Yu Suzuki. These are these thoughts are not any type of confirmation of any story we don't know, nor is it anything I spoke to you know, Yu Suzuki about. So what I think is going to happen at the end of Shenmue 3, obviously, there's an entire kind of destiny story to Shenmue. I like to compare Ryo's journey to the Yellow Emperor. If you ever look at the Chi-Yu mythos in Chinese mythology, you'll notice that there was a big fight between the Chi-Yu and the Yellow Emperor. And the Yellow Emperor kind of reminds me of Ryo a little bit. But this is the interesting thing. In the Yellow Emperor mythos, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm no expert. However, this is all for research that myself and others have done over the years. So, the Yellow Emperor has a big battle with the Chi-Yu. So that's like the ultimate thing. That's where the Yellow Emperor dies. That's where he's defeated by the Chi-Yu. But the Yellow Emperor, in the mythos, finds two key things. The dragon, the phoenix, and there's another monster, another mythical, not a monster, a mythical being. I think it's called the Yuhil? Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so these two individuals kind of remind me of Shenhua and Ryo. And Lan Di. I'm sorry. It's been a very long day. Shenhua and Lan Di. Shenhua being the phoenix, Lan Di being the other mythical creature. So that's one direct comparison. The second direct comparison is that the Yellow Emperor goes through a series of battles that kind of make me think about the four leaders, and then gets to the Chi-Yu. Now, that's a very interesting kind of side-by-side analysis of Ryo's journey. So that would mean if Yu Suzuki was going to be following the Yellow Emperor's story, like I think he is, then Ryo's going to have 4 major battles, and then the Chi-Yu. But another side of me thinks... I'm sorry, I paused the screen on my TV. I was watching an Angry Joe show, and I paused the screen. Just take a look at this. You'll see me like laughing. That's why Angry Joe's face, it's kind of bright. It's just staring at me because I paused the screen there. So you center this a little bit and get the camera to readjust. And all right, this is a really crappy camera I'm using. This is a Microsoft Live Cam. Anyway. So, where were we? So, another kind of analysis that's done is that there's 4 leaders, which we know. That's Niao-san, Zeman, Lan Di, and then one we haven't met yet, which there's a lot of theories as to who that is. A lot of us believe it to be Tente, to be Baihu. And then those 4 leaders work directly under what is either Tente or the Chi-Yu, or Tente is working under the Chi-Yu. So it goes the Chi-Yu, Tente, and then the 4 leaders. Now, a lot of us believe that that Tente and the Chi-Yu are 2 different things, and then some of us believe that they're the same person. Whereas if Chi-Yu has like alternate forms, meaning like when Chi-Yu's at rest, he is kind of materialized as a being on Earth, and then he assumes his ultimate form as Chi-Yu. If that story turns out to be correct, I would not be surprised at all if Baihu was that manifestation of Chi-Yu before he becomes ultimately powerful. Which is kind of interesting. Some of the reasons that some of us believe that is because, for one, Baihu looks like an ox. For 2, Baihu, he that screen. He sits in a building. He sits in the Yellowhead building, and on the bottom, the Yellowhead building is called the Big Ox building, and at the top, the Yellowhead building is called the Big Ox building. So that can be thought of. Baihu is in the lower level, meaning that he's kind of like, if you look at it objectionally and apply a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking to it, you can kind of symbolically say that the bottom building is kind of like, he's dead. He's at the bottom. He's in his grave. And then he uses the Yellowheads to rise up, meaning that the middle segment of the building is the Yellowhead building, and then he becomes the Big Ox at the top. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Big Ox is a direct name for the Chi-Yu. That's another thing about the mythos. So, some of us believe that Ryo is going to fight those 4 individuals and then go to the Chi-Yu. And then one of the other beliefs is that Ryo is going to have, his partners with him. So it's going to be Ryo, Xiuying, Shenhua, whatever you want to call her, and Ren. Now, or it's going to be Ryo, Xiuying, Shenhua, Ren, and Guizhan. Because I have a huge belief that Guizhan comes back. It'd be just stupid to not have him in the storyline after the entire segment of Shenmue 1. Despite the fact that that's only 1 chapter. The whole game is just 1 chapter. 1 chapter. So, Angry Joe's face. So, so that would mean that there's going to be a 1 person per 1 person battle. So when Ryo gets to where the Chi-Yu men are located, which I believe the Chi-Yu men are located in those mountains in the photo that you see in Shenhua's house. I actually wrote a nifty little, theory about that. Which is why Shenhua is so, weirded out when Ryo looks at it when you're in Shenhua's house. Now, mind you, I should have said this in the beginning, this video is a spoiler. If you have not beaten Shenmue 2, do not watch this video. And seriously, play the game. I don't know why you're watching this and you haven't beaten Shenmue 2. I mean, come on. It's an amazing experience. Sit down, take the time to play it, take it slowly, and it's amazing. Okay, so like I said, we would have 1 person per 1 person. So 1 good side against 1 evil side, 1 good person, 1 evil person. So that would make, it would probably turn out something like this. Shenhua is going to fight the Chi-Yu. And the only reason why I say this is because 2 things. For one, in the Project Berkeley video, we noticed that Shenhua has superpowers. She has the ability to exert energy, which means that she might have the ability to do something even more chaotic. For 2, actually there's 3 reasons. For 2, in the Shenmue Online video, we see her summon the Phoenix. Now, if the Shenmue Online video actually corresponds with the ending of Shenmue 3, then that would mean that Shenhua has the ability to summon. It's also why she changes her outfit in the Shenmue Online cinematic video, because she has some type of summoning outfit, or not only that, but she's turning into somebody else, because she can contact her ancestors. That's been, proven by Yu Suzuki himself. He said that. She can contact her ancestors, so maybe she's turning into them to fulfill that destiny role. As if, fulfill that destiny role, and then she's able to summon the phoenix. I'm sorry, I really don't feel well right now, so don't mind me if I sound a little off. So Shenhua is going to fight the Chiyu, whether that's in like some ultimate form, or she has superpowers and she can, or the Chiyu is like, you know, it's a heavenly beast, but it's the size of a human being, and she's able to fight it, and, you know, in martial arts. Ryo is going to fight Lan Di. Actually, let me say this for one thing. Lan Di's real name is Long Sun Zhao, so I'm going to refer to him as Long Sun Zhao. Ryo is going to fight Long Sun Zhao. Huing is going to fight her brother Ziming. There's a couple of theories as to why Ziming is so like powerful and why he rose up in the Chiyu men so fast. She's going to fight him because he's corrupted somehow. And then Ren and Guizhan, you can kind of switch them. And it's kind of hard to defer who they were going to fight, because the only other leader we know of is Niao-san. Now, both characters, Ren and Guizhan, have the ability to just not give a fuck what people think. So Niao-san's seductiveness that they suggest in her biography is probably not going to apply to the two of them. I think Guizhan will have a better barrier against Niao-san because of just due to how Guizhang's characters. And I think Ren is probably going to jump into the opportunity that she, quote-unquote, gives him if she were to be seductive. I could just kind of see that in him. Plus, Guizhan's older, he's wiser. Now, mind you, in Shenmue 2, Ren's only about 19 years old. Guizhan, I think he's in his 30s or late 20s. So he'd probably be able to, you know, keep himself out of seduction. You know, for a longer period of time. And then Ren will be fighting whoever the fourth leader is. That's more of the story that I think is going to happen. However, one thing does kind of like bother me a little bit. Yu Suzuki said himself that over time, Ryo's lust for revenge is going to dissolve, and he's going to become one with himself. This can kind of start to be seen when Ryo does Tai Chi outside the cave with Shenfa. He's starting to, you know, understand the martial arts symbolically and mythology-wise. And he's kind of getting at peace with himself. So with that in mind, I don't know. Maybe maybe Long Sun Zhao doesn't fight him. Maybe they solve their differences because there's a higher meaning at stake. There's more of a destiny role to fulfill. I don't know. It really pisses me off that we don't have Shenmue 3 because I sit here pondering these things, you know, and then I go and make these videos and drink beer when I shouldn't be. If it wasn't for the lime in that beer, that would taste pretty disgusting. Let's get another one of that. So, yeah. So Shenmue 3's ending, I can see it going a couple ways. Whether it's going to be a final fight between Ryo and Long Sun, whether it's going to be some ultimate destiny-driven battle between the Chiyu men and Ryo and his allies, whether it's going to be Ryo falling into the same path that Ziming did. He eventually meets up with the Chiyu men and becomes corrupted and becomes that fourth leader we don't know about. You never know. Like, who knows? Maybe, oh man, so many things could happen. Maybe Iwao's not dead, and maybe he is Tentei and faked his death. Or maybe he didn't kill maybe he didn't kill Suming Zhao. And Suming Zhao is Tentei. There's so many things that could happen, you know? It makes me so upset, man. Us Shenmue fans. Adam Korlick said it best. Us Shenmue fans, we just keep getting burned. Anyway, so those are my thoughts about the ending of Shenmue 3. This discussion series will be a couple more parts because there's a couple more things I want to touch. To explain a little more thoroughly, I kind of want to do small segments on, like, you know, how the mythology applies to the Shenmue story. I covered that briefly in this video. And then, you know, a segment like, what do I want to see in Shenmue 3? Meaning, like, what areas, like, what features of the game, things like that. So, I hope you liked my video, and, you know, don't mind me, I'm kind of a mess right now, and I really don't feel too well, so. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice day.